My name's Jamie Poa. I'm 23 years old, and I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska. I went to Lincoln Northeast High School, and I was very active there. I did cross country and swimming and track, and I did concert choir and band, and I was in the National Honor Society, and I got straight A's. I was pretty much always busy. I met Matt through a mutual friend. He went to East and I went to Northeast, and my best friend at the time, Bethany, she had someone that was dating someone in the band, and Matt happened to be in the band, so I went to go see her and her new boyfriend, and Matt happened to be there, and I said, "Do you want to go to a movie?" And he said, "Yeah." And then we kind of just started dating that way.
I'm Kent.
I'm Jill. We're from Kearney, and we've been married 13 years. 2 years after being married, we started to try to have kids, and we had issues, some problems. It was important to us just to be parents. It didn't matter how we became parents, so we looked into adoption.
Matt kept asking me, "Do you think that you're pregnant?" And I kept saying, I'm not pregnant. I'm not worried about it. But then every night I would go to sleep and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I'm pregnant? And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. And so finally Matt's like, you just need to go and do it. And so I took a pregnancy test and I told him, and later I wrote him a letter and it said, we're going to get through this. And that's actually how his parents found out. They found the letter in Matt's room, and that's how they actually confronted him about it. But I was so scared. I knew that my dad had had a child out of wedlock, and my sister had had a child out of wedlock, and she was very young, 14 or 15. And now here was me. I was a junior in high school, and I knew that I was going to have a baby my senior year.
We did AI, artificial insemination, and the next step was either in vitro or we were done. And in vitro is very expensive, and I saw how every time the infertility treatments failed, how sad and depressed it made her, and I couldn't handle that anymore. And I thought that let's just try to do adoption.
I decided to tell my parents about 2 or 3 weeks later. I decided I needed to find a good way to tell them, and I remember getting off of work that night. I worked at the pools, and I went over, and my mom was sitting inside, and I said, can we go talk outside? And we sat down, and I kind of just told her blank. I said, I'm pregnant. And she kind of looked at me, and my mom is one of the people that she would never raise her voice. She would never, I've never seen her upset about anything. She's just very calm and collected, and she's like, well, I knew something was wrong because I wasn't she's like, you weren't acting the way that you usually do. She's like, I could just tell something was wrong, but I wasn't going to say anything until you were ready to talk to me. And she goes, did you tell your dad? And I said, no, how am I supposed to tell him? She says, well, soon. So I had kind of knocked on the door, and I had kind of sat down on the bed, and I said, Dad, I have something to tell you. And he's like, yeah? And I told him I was pregnant, and he was quiet, and I think that was worse. I wanted something to come out of his mouth. I can't believe it. I almost was waiting for him to yell. I wanted some sort of repercussion. I wanted some sort of anger, and the disappointment was worse than anything that I could have imagined, because he kind of turned his head over to me and he looked at me and he said, then you're going to have to take care of it. I knew that with my sister having a child when she was so young, I knew kind of what she had gone through. I know that for a while her daughter was with her husband, and then for a while she was with her, and things were just very unorganized, and she was going through a rough time. And I knew that couldn't be easy on my niece Lizzie. And so when I sat down with my mom and we had talked about it, she had actually found the Nebraska Children's Home website, and she had said, why don't you go at least take a look? Why don't you go talk to somebody? She goes, but this is about as far as I'm going to help you with. She goes, I saw this, and I think it might help you.
We really like their philosophy, because their philosophy is that they work not for the adoptive couple or not for the birth family, but they work for the child. So they do what's best for the child. They really strongly encourage open adoption, which was a little scary at first, but once we met with them and kind of got to learn more about open adoption, we realized that was really the best thing to do.
And we sat down, and the Nebraska Children's Home pretty much told me, you have 2 options. You have to keep the baby, or you have adoption, because we don't talk about abortion here. I grew up believing in God, and I knew that no matter what, there's no way that I could choose abortion. So I said, no, that's fine. I don't even want to talk about it. My mother just kept saying, you need to pray. She said, you just need to pray, because no matter what, God is going to tell you what you need to do. And it was harder because friends would tell me, everyone in high school had kept their baby, and everyone in high school would say, I can't believe that you would even think about that option. It's selfish. You need to take care of her. But I did. I just kept praying, and by the end, there was no sign, but by the end, I just knew that going through that, that was going to be the best option for her.
So we got the phone call that Jamie and Matt and Ava had been released from the hospital and that they were going to take her home for the night. The next day we were supposed to go down and do the placement. And that's where Matt and Jamie would sign the papers to relinquish their rights, and then we would, take Ava home with us. We got a phone call that wasn't going to happen, that they wanted to take the weekend to try to see what it would be like to parent. Obviously, on our end, we were devastated. The one thing that is very important for us to convey is that we never once, ever got upset with Matt and Jamie. Never once were mad at them. Never once had any hard feelings towards them, because we knew this was a huge decision for them, and we wanted to make sure that they were doing the right thing for them and for Ava. That weekend was very hard. Like I said, we said a lot of prayers for us and for Matt and Jamie that they would make the right decision. We told our caseworker when we left that we were basically going to, okay, this is a done deal. They're going to end up keeping her, so don't call us on Monday, because they were supposed to let us know on Monday, unless the papers are signed, because I can't continue to go on day to day. You're getting her, you're not getting her, you're getting her, not getting her. So Monday rolled around, we both decided to go back to work. Our caseworker called and said, okay, you need to be in Lincoln at 6. They said their goodbyes, and we said our goodbyes to them, and then we brought Ava home. So it was kind of a journey, but it worked out.